Former WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley breaks character, and SLAMS fans who were celebrating Liv Morgan dislocating her shoulder and being injured last night on Monday Night Raw. We'll let you know all the details on that. Plus, speaking of injuries, Jamie Hayter reportedly has been written off AEW television after sustaining an injury recently. Julia reportedly is set to be spotlighted in the coming weeks on Friday Night SmackDown. TNA Wrestling's streaming service TNA Plus launches a free tier. John Bradshaw Layfield says he'd like to see R-Truth become the WWE champion. Kalito, after exiting WWE, says he thinks that WWE CCO Triple H wasn't a big fan of his character. MVP reveals how long he plans to continue on wrestling. And Bayley addresses being pulled from this year's WrestleMania Premium Live event. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we're currently at 22,459 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe, as we get closer to our goal of 25,000 subscribers later on this year. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. All you have to do is scan that QR code, click the link in the video description, or click the join button. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Let's begin with Rhea Ripley, the former WWE Women's World Champion, breaking character to slam fans who are celebrating the injury suffered by former Women's World Champion and Ripley's rival, Liv Morgan, Monday night on Raw. Now, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan may be fierce rivals on WWE television, but Mammy isn't celebrating Morgan's recent injury. During last night's June 17th edition of WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix, Morgan suffered a rough fall in her match against Kairi Sane. After a commercial break, commentary announced that the match had been stopped due to injury. It's since been reported that she sustained a dislocated shoulder. We'll let you know the details on that in just a second. But despite their on-screen feud, Ripley took to X to express that she takes no satisfaction in Morgan's setback and urged fans who were cheering the injury to rethink their perspective. She said, quote, PSA, don't celebrate an injury, disgusting behavior, don't be like them. Now, Ripley and Morgan spent much of 2024 locked in a heated rivalry on WWE television, battling over the Women's World Championship and the attention of Dirty Dominic Mysterio. As far as the details of Morgan's injury, we've got a little bit more on that as well. As I mentioned, on Raw, Women's Tag Team Champion Liv Morgan suffered this injury, which abruptly brought her match with Kairi Sane to an end. And in a new update, it has provided more details about the injury. PW Insider has reported that the injury to Morgan's shoulder is a legitimate injury, as the Judgment Day member seemingly dislocated her shoulder. As per the report, the injury was not in any way to write her off WWE television for an appearance outside of WWE. The report added that WWE is awaiting further assessment of the injury, with the report claiming that a severe dislocation could keep her out of action for nearly 16 weeks. However, WWE has yet to determine the seriousness of the injury when that report was written. Morgan was reportedly tended to by WWE doctors as soon as she was taken backstage. The report also stated there was no heat on anyone for the injury, and it was considered to be a freak accident. The injury to Morgan happened as soon as the match between her and Kairi Sane began, as her right elbow and landed heavily on the mat when Sane performed a single leg takedown. Morgan immediately rolled out of the ring and clutched her arm before being taken to the back by WWE's medical staff. Commentator Michael Cole later announced on the broadcast live that Morgan had suffered a dislocated shoulder. Now, Morgan, of course, had only just returned to WWE television on the May 26th edition of Raw after she took some time off to play a part of the Bad Lieutenant Tokyo movie, and in fact faced Sane on that night too, losing to the Japanese star. Following that match, she was part of a Money in the Bank qualifying match, which Stephanie Vaquer won, and then the Queen of the Ring first round match won by Roxanne Perez last week. Again, if we get any more details on that moving forward, we'll let you know. But what are your thoughts on some of the fans who were celebrating the injury having to be put straight there by Rhea Ripley? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Now, speaking of injuries to stars of the women's division in professional wrestling, we have an update on Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter last competed at AEW Double or Nothing on May 25th, 2025 in the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament for the women's division. Now, losing to Mercedes Moné, Hayter hasn't been seen in an AEW ring since the following week's Dynamite, and the real reason for her absence has been revealed. Addressing the star's absence on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reports that Hayter is currently injured, noting that the injury was was picked up during her match with Monet. Meltzer stated, quote, "She was hurt in the Mercedes Monet match when they did the Thekla injury angle that was set up to cover for her injury and give her a storyline reason to be out. That was the reason it wasn't followed up on, because she actually went into it hurt." Now, Thekla attacked Hayter on the May 28th episode of AEW Dynamite in an in-ring segment that saw the lights go out, the new star debut, and the former Women's World Champion being written off of television. Of course, we wish Jamie Hayter the best in her recovery. Hopefully, she can come back soon. If we get any more details as to the nature of the injury, we'll let you know in a future video. Going back to WWE, and a big spotlight could be on Julia very, very soon. Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported that the belief among WWE talent is Julia will be, quote, "getting a lot of spotlight," end quote, on Friday Night SmackDown in the coming weeks. WWE's exact plans for Julia are unknown, but the former Stardom star has been involved in the Women's United States title picture, and it has been hinted she could be challenging Zelina Vega for the championship at some point in the near future. Julia was officially called up to Friday Night SmackDown in mid-May, having been featured on WWE NXT since her debut at No Mercy in September 2024. Julia held the NXT Women's Championship for 63 days in early 2025 as part of her run on the Tuesday Night brand. Julia has been featured since debuting on SmackDown, including at WWE Money in the Bank, when she competed in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match that was ultimately won by Naomi. Of course, several talents have been called up from WWE NXT to the WWE main roster since WrestleMania 41, including Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vaquer, in addition to Julia. Now let's talk about TNA Wrestling and their streaming service TNA Plus getting something a little bit different. TNA Wrestling have officially launched a free tier of the promotion's TNA Plus streaming service. TNA have announced the creation of a free tier of TNA Plus, which will allow free subscribers to watch a curated selection of classic and current on-demand content. Fans on the free tier will also be able to watch the June 26th episode of TNA Impact 6 days early with a live sneak peek on Friday, June 20th from the UPMC Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Quote, "This is a huge moment for TNA. The response to our growing momentum has been incredible, and it continues to build every week. With the launch of the free tier on TNA Plus, we're opening the door for everyone to watch TNA. Whether you're a long-time fan or are brand new to the product, it's never been easier to jump in and experience what makes TNA so special," TNA President Carlos Silva said. TNA Plus also has paid tiers. The monthly subscription at $9.99 provides fans with access to streaming specials, current episodes of Impact and Explosion, and the promotion's content library. An annual tier priced at $159.99, that's in dollars, $139.99 in pounds, provides subscribers with live access to all TNA pay-per-views, streaming specials, and weekly TV, as well as the content library. It was claimed in April 2025 that TNA Plus subscribers had doubled over the past year, with the growth credited to marketing figures fired by TNA in early 2025. Now, R-Truth, Ron Killings, of course, he's gone under a big change on WWE television. He was let go, then brought back. Could he be a future WWE champion? Well, John Bradshaw Layfield has discussed whether Ron Killings' age might affect his chances of potentially becoming a WWE World Champion. Since his return at WWE Money in the Bank, Ron Killings, also known as R-Truth, has been targeting WWE Champion John Cena and continues to enjoy support from fans and peers alike. Although Killings had a long career in WWE, he has never won the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. During the latest episode of Something to Wrestle, John Bradshaw Layfield commented on the potential for Ron Killings to become a WWE World Champion. He reflected on his own time as WWE Champion when he was one of the oldest champions ever crowned by the company at that time. JBL remarked that age is just a number and that fans do not focus on Truth's age. He says, quote, "I don't know if he becomes world champion or not. I saw Booker's comment on it and I agree with Booker. He'd be a great world champion. I think fans would buy it. Obviously, they'd buy it. What is he, 53 years old? He looks fantastic," he said. 53 used to be ancient and grandfathers. The world's changed. Look at LeBron James playing at age 40 and still top of his game. People are different now. I think Truth could be a world champion. I hope he is. Nobody looks at him as old because he looks the same as he did. He's like Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is going to wrestle until he's 85, Bradshaw joked. "I was 39 or 40 when I won the WWE Championship. I was one of the oldest champions then. Now the business has changed. The world has changed. Nutrition's changed. People are just healthier longer. Truth looks like he's 28 years old. Age is just a number. It's like Satchel Paige used to say, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? That's true." Now, of course, Ron Killings will once again face John Cena. This time, it'll be on the June 20th episode of WWE SmackDown. As of right now, the undisputed WWE Championship will not be on the line. Now, speaking of those departures from WWE, of course, Truth came back, but Kalito was one of those names out of the door. Now former WWE superstar Kalito doesn't think Paul Triple H Levesque was the biggest fan of his on-screen persona. The former Intercontinental Champion was a featured performer on Raw after joining the Judgment Day faction in August of 2024, with Kalito revealing that it was his idea to position himself as the group's comedic relief due to the belief that WWE's chief content officer wouldn't have plans for him otherwise. During a recent appearance on Busted Open Radio, Kalito explained, quote, "I orchestrated that. Some people were complaining they have him as an idiot, but those were all my ideas. It took, literally, creative has nothing for you, and I made something of it. I went in there and I said, I'm not going to complain. I'm one of the older guys. I'm not going to get prioritized, and I'm not going to get pushed. And Hunter is not a fan of Kalito. I think he personally likes me, but I think he was never a big fan of the character. What I did was, I'm in the Judgment Day. It's the hottest group here. How can I stay in this group? Boom. This is what's missing. The writers were great. They gave me a bunch of freedom. They would come to me and say, we have this backstage segment. We don't really have anything for you here, but we were just hoping that you could Kalito-fy it, is what they would say. I would find where I could do something. It took off from there, and every week it was great. They gave me total freedom to do whatever I wanted." Now, the 46-year-old officially became a free agent after WWE opted to let his contract expire without renewing it or giving him a new deal. Now, MVP, how long does he plan on wrestling for? Though he is primarily used as the manager and mouthpiece of the Hurt Syndicate, AEW star MVP hasn't hung up his boots just yet. During a recent edition of his Marking Out podcast, the 51-year-old revealed that he wants to embark on a retirement tour. Quote, "At this stage of the game for me, I don't have to do it, I just still enjoy doing it. When I get to the point that I can't do it effectively or I'm taking baseball slide bumps, then it's time to go. I plan on ending this run here pretty soon anyway. I want to have my last match. I want to have the retirement tour. Let me go around. Hey, this is the last time MVP will be wrestling in your city," he said. Continuing, the former WWE United States Champion outlined a rough timetable, saying, quote, "I'd like to think I got maybe another 10 as a manager, maybe 15 depending on my age and health. As far as in-ring, I got maybe a year or two left max, man." Now, in January, MVP said the clock was ticking on his in-ring career. A future WWE return seems unlikely, given his personal issues with Paul Triple H Levesque. But of course, anything's possible in the sport of professional wrestling. And finally, a bit of an update here when it comes to Bayley. She's spoken about missing this year's WrestleMania 41. Now, of course, she's spoken about how this could have affected her mindset in WWE following her recent return to television. The subject of a backstage attack ahead of night one of WrestleMania 41 in April, Bayley made her return on the June 9th episode of WWE Raw. With reports indicating that Bayley being replaced had been planned for weeks ahead of WrestleMania 41, many fans expressed sympathy for Bayley following her missing the biggest show of the year. Speaking on the Raw recap, Bayley discussed her recent return and how missing this year's WrestleMania has focused her thoughts, saying, quote, "I was honestly pretty emotional coming into work today and knowing that I was coming out here to talk about it because I just haven't talked to anybody about it and what I truly felt and how it made me feel to miss that show. Like I said tonight, I don't work for just the big matches. I don't work for the big spotlights, but it is obviously one of the biggest nights of the year. We only get so many of those in our career, and I've been lucky enough to have a lot of WrestleManias under my belt, doing a little bit of everything, all kinds of different matches and hosting WrestleMania. But this one I was really excited for, to be back in the tag division after having a pretty good run, and that gauntlet match with Lyra is something that I was really looking forward to. Initially, of course, Bayley was set to team with Lyra Valkyria facing Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Valkyria eventually, though, would team with Becky Lynch, with the pair winning the titles, only for the returning star to turn on their tag team partner and later reveal herself as Bayley's attacker. With Bayley now locked in a feud with Lynch, she would go on to discuss her feelings towards her aggressor, saying, quote, "So to be taken out of it by somebody that I've known since the beginning and somebody that I've really grown up with on this path and on this journey, just to see how she's changed, how Becky's changed throughout these years is just, it's annoying and it's disgusting that she has to go to these lengths to get ahead. But I mean, it is what it is. I think it really sounds cheesy, but for sure, it's definitely lit a fire under me, something that I was missing. Even in my title reign, my last title reign, I think there was something missing. I think it's good to have this chip on my shoulder now and to be able to talk about it and to be able to freaking fight from it and to be able to have something to fight for. Of course, Becky Lynch is the current WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, with Bayley set to face her on the June 23rd episode of Raw on Netflix. The upcoming match marks Bayley's first since April 14th, 2025 on the Raw Go Home show before WrestleMania 41. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see right there. We're currently at 22,459 subscribers, getting closer to 25k. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 Members Club, the roster. You can scan the QR code. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.